Hey, hey, hey! It is part 2 of our AI series. Had Derek on last Wednesday, and this is part 2 with Drew Larison. So, welcome to the Cleaning Software Podcast, episode 16, where we are here to educate and empower the residential cleaning industry. And today, I couldn't be more excited because one, the topic is AI, and second, our guest is Drew Larison with 5 Door Media. So, Drew built his he actually still has Larison Media there in Kokomo, Indiana. He founded in 2015, and then just in 2024, he formed 5 Door Media, which he specialized in the cleaning industry. So he's doing locally what he did with Larison Media in Kokomo. Now he has taken nationwide to the cleaning industry, and he shares the same passion that I do about educating and supporting the industry. So I can't be more excited to have him here. He is such a hard worker. He is so creative, and he puts his heart into everything that he does. So Drew is a husband, a dad, and someone who believes that kindness and consistency is just as important as strategy and innovation. Over the year, he's helped many small businesses, especially in the service space, use effective marketing, content SEO, and now AI tools to grow and reach their impact. I respect Drew deeply, both for what he has achieved and who he is today. I am thrilled to bring him here today and dig deeper into AI, what it really means to the residential cleaning industry, how it can be a tool and it should not be a fear, and it is made to better your business. So without further ado, I want to thank Drew for being here.
Hey everybody!
How's it going?
It's going very well. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me on today.
Okay, I gotta do my sound effect.
That might be the biggest applause I've ever received. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
No problem. I feel like, AI has been a big topic for a while, but I think as more techie and creative people have jumped on it because we just think it's cool. But it is not like, oh, it's coming. It's here. And
for sure.
Now I don't want to play like doomsday or some conspiracy theory or anything like that. But if you do not educate yourself and jump on the wagon, people are going to beat you at what you do, no matter how hard you work, because they're going to have AI and you're not going to. So if you want to compete, if you want to compete with giant corporations, because now you have the tools to do so without having to have piles of money that the big corps do, pay attention. This is not a conspiracy theory, and it's really not that hard. Every AI session I overload myself with YouTube videos and then I can't remember anything it said. So take notes, work along with us. Just take one thing away and actually go implement it. Then go back and watch some other AI kind of thing and then go implement it. Don't try to do it all at once. And I can't wait to hear Drew and his topic. So tell us what you're talking about today.
Absolutely. So yeah, thanks again for having me on. Hello, everybody watching live, as well as the people who are maybe watching this later on the replay. So today we're going to talk about a specific arena or area of AI, not exaggerating when I say this, has legitimately changed my professional life. It dips into my personal life. And I owe all of this almost to a friend of mine named Matt Plapp. If you've heard of Matt Plapp, he owns a agency as well that works in the restaurant space. But I'm in a mastermind with Matt Plapp, and he gave a presentation on the idea of how to use ChatGPT to create your own virtual board of directors. So we're all small business owners, probably watching this, right? Like we all own businesses. And a sad reality to being a small business owner is a lot of times it's lonely, right? It is kind of lonely to be a small business owner. When you're getting started, you don't have the luxury of a board of directors to lean on, to pitch ideas to. You could talk to your staff, but we all know that's not exactly the perfect situation either. So we don't have a sounding board. We don't have a group of people that we can kind of throw our problems at, throw our ideas at, and get really sound advice back, what direction or what steps we should take next for our business until now. And we've talked a lot about AI being time saving, increases efficiencies inside of businesses. It can replace responsibilities that some humans had. But really what we're going to talk about today is using AI to make yourself smarter, to make yourself be around people that maybe you would not have had the opportunity to be around physically, but be around them now virtually and get their opinions. And basically what we're going to talk about today is that virtual board of directors idea. So I'm excited about this. Like I said, I swear I'm not, exaggerating too much when I say this, but like it really has changed my life in a way. I'm a fortunate person too, where I have my wife full-time in the business with me. So like you can imagine what pillow talk is at our house. We're talking about the business a lot, but at the same time, to be able to use this virtual board of directors is such a powerful thing that I've learned to do. So that's what we're going to talk about. I'm excited to get into it. As Holly said, are we just jumping in or what are we doing here?
Are you telling me that you can use this board of directors to solve fights between you and your husband, or what?
I am not qualified to answer that question completely. But I mean, maybe, because like the whole point of it is to build out a personal board of directors that you can really ask anything to. And since it's custom made to you, you really can say, I want you to give this type of advice. Here's the tone I want you to use with me. Do you want me to, do you want it to be like very straightforward and kind of brutal and give you that, blunt advice? Or do you want it to be something that like maybe is nicer or tiptoes around the edges? Custom GPT, you really can use it, for anything. Hey, if you want to throw in there, help me in disagreements that I have with my spouse, maybe that's something you could use for it. I mean, I never have disagreements with my spouse, so I don't know what you're talking about. There could never be times where we disagree on things. No, so it really could be used for anything, but I'm excited to talk about it today.
Awesome. Let's jump in. I can't wait to hear it. So just to back up for people who are just now jumping on live, last week, Derek came in and he taught us how to make these custom ChatGPT channels. So we didn't want to go backwards. We want to give you all as much information as possible. So go back and watch last week's if you want to go, okay, how did he even get there to start there? How do I plug this in? Yeah. And then we're obviously open for Q&A during and in the middle. So just let us know. But carry on. Yeah.
So as Holly said, my name is Drew Larison. I am the CEO and visionary here at 5 Door Media. And so we are a full service digital agency solely made and serving the cleaning industry. That's really the only clients we take on. I've said no to many clients recently because they're not in that industry. And we love this industry. We love the work that it does and the impact it makes. A little bit about us. We exist to partner with cleaning businesses so that together we can increase their impact internally, locally, and beyond, because we truly believe that your cleaning business has the power to change the world. That is our why statement. And how we do that is taking over creative and strategic tasks that help grow your cleaning business in a scalable, predictable, and healthy way. Another quick, unique thing about 5 Door Media is we do have this thing called the 5 Door Method. I'm curious if anybody in the chat, which I might be, bouncing back and forth on tabs here, but curious if anybody in the chat has maybe ran paid ads in the past and, never really knew why they weren't working. You never were satisfied with the results of them. We've kind of solved that. We created this thing called the 5 Door Method where we use it to diagnose ad campaigns. We truly believe that any user on the internet has to go through 5 doors before they become a customer of yours. You can see that. First door is platform, second door is creative, third door is targeting, fourth door is post-ad engagement, and the fifth door being sales. So that's something unique about us too, is we use that model. But if you want to learn more about 5 Door Media, we can talk another time. I've got a QR code at the end of this that you guys can scan and schedule a meeting. Today, we are talking about virtual board of directors. And I kind of gave a little bit about what this means and what it does. But like Derek chatted with last week, this is a custom GPT that anybody can create and build it completely custom to what you are wanting this custom virtual board of directors and the role that you want it to play in your life. So let's just break it down. What is a virtual board of directors? And this is kind of like a definition. Honestly, myself, the irony in this entire presentation today, I used my virtual board of directors to plan most of this talk. So like there are many times where I was going through my notes talking, and I like speak to my ChatGPT. Do you talk to yours, Holly? Like you voice?
All the time.
Okay, yeah. So
all the
I
time.
was waiting to pick up one of my kids from their play practice last night. I was sitting in my car, probably looking like a lunatic in the parking lot, just like talking to my phone back and forth to this robot voice. But the irony is, like, I wanted to use my VBOD, Virtual Board of Directors, to help really plan what I wanted to talk about today, because it knows what I use it for the most. It knows its purpose with me. And I thought, who better than help me plan these topics and these conversations than my actual own VBOD? So what we came up with as a virtual board of directors is a mental or actual advisory council made up of real people or frameworks like EOS, or even curated sources of insight that give you access to different forms of wisdom, strategy, innovation, operations, finance, and leadership. So what that really means to me is I have built a virtual board of directors in ChatGPT made up of many minds, and I'll get into who's on my board of directors and like specifically even what seat I have them sitting in my board of directors later. But I have curated a specific list of people in the business, faith, business, or leadership world, even like fitness world. I have like created a list of people that I really respect and like love to learn from, put them in specific seats in a custom GPT, where when I interact with that custom GPT, I get a response broken down by seat by these individual people. It provides, like it says, different forms of wisdom, strategy, innovation, operations, finance, and leadership. These are people that it's not just me stuck in my own brain. I get to hear from voices that I know in the business, the leadership world, the faith world, whatever world it is. I get to hear what their perspectives would be on any issue or question that I'm having throughout the day. I'll give a really quick example. Simon Sinek, who is one of my favorite thought leaders in the idea of personal leadership and business leadership, I have told, hey, I want Simon Sinek to sit in the personal leadership seat of my virtual board of directors. ChatGPT, knowing everything that it knows who Simon Sinek is, what Simon Sinek believes about personal leadership, the thoughts and the ideas that Simon has put out into the world on personal leadership, to where when I ask my virtual board of directors a question on personal leadership issues, I'm getting an answer that is inspired by and curated and made by Simon Sinek. So do I have Simon Sinek's cell phone number? Unfortunately, no. Maybe one day. But I do have him sitting in my personal leadership seat on my virtual board of directors, and I can get feedback that would be inspired by what Simon Sinek has put on the internet. Just like that, just by creating this virtual board of directors. So that is what a virtual board of directors is. Who needs it, right? And I kind of, like I said at the top, I truly believe one of the hardest parts about being a small business owner is how lonely it can be. A lot of times it is you at the top, and then there's a giant gap of anybody below you that you can talk to, that you can relate to, that you can connect with, you can toss ideas with, that truly understands your brain and where your perspective of which you're coming from. It's a hard thing. So who needs a VBOD, which is what I'll refer to virtual board of directors as moving forward, because virtual board of directors takes a long time to say. Business owners.
I have a really quick question for dummies. This is my job as the moderator, is to stop for the people. And by the way, y'all stop, or y'all put in the chat.
Please,
I'm monitoring questions. So we set up the custom GPT like we did with Derek last week. And then you just label it that, and then prompt the bar, or like just type in, I am creating my chat, and then it will just do it for you.
Well, even when you're creating it on the back end, like when you are creating it from the beginning and the back end of like creating that
The
custom
configure
GPT,
part.
The configure part, I am putting those specific people I want on my VBOD, even in that part, right?
Okay.
So like even from the get-go, and I think Derek mentioned this last week too, and this is such a easy ChatGPT AI hack to begin with for everything, not just this. Mm-hmm. You might have maybe like 5 to 6 seats that you for sure know you would want on your virtual board of directors, but then you kind of get stuck. All right, I told you the people, what else do I do, right? Like sometimes it's hard to know like the next step in AI, because it's just such an overwhelming thought that you don't know, where do I go next? Ask it. So I ask AI all the time, what else do you need to know to make this a powerful tool for me? And it will ask you questions. I copy and paste those questions, put a little dash, type my answer, or speak my answer. And then I ask again, what else do you need to know? And just compounds more and more information. And that GPT is smart enough to know, like, oh, I think if I knew this, if I had this information, if I had this point of view that you're coming from or wanting to see, I could be better about this as well. So ask ChatGPT, ask it questions like, what else do you need to know to make this the best it can be? Right? And no different with any custom GPT, no matter what purpose it is. VBOD, I asked it, I remember when I was creating mine originally, like, what seats should I even have? Like, what seats make sense? You know me. You know who Drew Larison is. You know what roles I play in my life. What seats should I have on my board that will help this be a really powerful tool? So maybe you don't even know what seats to start with. Hopefully after today, you have a good idea of where to go and what seats would make sense. But just ask it. Ask it those questions, and it will help you, guide you in the direction to go. So who needs it? In my opinion, business owners who want to grow without feeling isolated or overwhelmed. It's for those who know they need perspective beyond their own, but don't necessarily have access to a traditional boardroom or a team inside their organization. So really what we're saying, small business owners, right? Like that's really who needs this. Someone who is trying to grow. Maybe they don't have a coach yet. Maybe they don't know about the Cleaning Softwares podcast and can't just jump on and have like a learning community. They don't know about the 5 Door Media podcast. Maybe they just need someone to bounce ideas off of, and they just don't have that in their real personal life yet. So they could use this. They could use a VBOD for this exact purpose. That's who it's for.
Virtual Board of Directors. In case you've just tuned in, VBOD is Virtual Board of Directors.
Absolutely. Yep.
Sorry. It's my job to slow it down for us.
So when would you use a virtual board of directors, right? Because I think a lot of times with AI in general, we get all excited. We're like little puppies. We have like this new tool. And then we're like, okay, I have it. What do I do now? And I've noticed that we have a lot of custom GPTs we use at 5 Door Media now. Some client facing, like we're creating a custom GPT for every client that we onboard. And we use that for multiple purposes. But a lot of times we build these custom GPTs and we use it for like one or two things like, what else can it do? Or when do I use this, right? But really, anytime you're making decisions with long-term consequences or when you're feeling stuck, reactive, or alone in decision-making. Small business owners in the chat, please, someone yell preach, right? Because so many times in our life, we have these ideas. We are constantly given choices we have to make during the day, and we just don't know where the right choice is. We don't know the right direction to move, and we don't have that physical board of directors. Maybe you don't have a business coach, and you don't know who to ask. A lot of times, maybe already you're going to ChatGPT and asking this question. What if you had a custom ChatGPT full of people that you know, love, and respect in the business, leadership, faith world, whatever it is, and you could get opinions back from them, what they would think? That's what we're talking about. So that's when I use it a lot. Honestly, I use my VBOD more than any other default ChatGPT. It is my default one I go to. Like I said, we have built a lot of custom GPTs at 5 Door Media, but me personally, Drew Larison, I'm in my VBOD 80% of the time. We have a custom sales GPT that we've built. We've built one for our brand strategists to use. We have a 5-door method that I mentioned earlier. We have a custom GPT that helps us diagnose ad campaigns. But majority of the time, I'm using my VBOD more than anything else. And it just really has become my default ChatGPT that I'm using.
That's
Where
awesome.
does it exist?
I know as a small business owner myself, and you guys pipe in, if you have a specific question that you're like, could I ask it this? Please chime up in the chat. But sometimes I will get in that business decision mode part where I'm like, because in business, there's never a clear answer, right? There's never a right and there's never a wrong. Sometimes it's the lesser of the evils or the better of the best, and you're like, I don't know which way to go. A lot of times I'll just be like, it's not clear, so I'll just wait. Even though I've bothered 15 of my friends and colleagues and coworkers and had to repeat the same thing to them and go and talk to them and get all of their advice on this situation I'm struggling with. Well, I just wasted 6 hours of my life. I can go to this and I'll get 7 different opinions and everybody will still like me because I'm not bothering them, and I could be more decisive. Is that what you're telling me?
100%. And I have custom built mine with very specific people. Like I said, I'll show you every seat I have on my VBOD here in a second. But even if maybe you don't have a specific person that you'd like to sit in a seat, you can create one. You could create, hey, I need someone in my finance seat that has these values, that, you know, wants to run on low debt, wants to be focused on cash flow, wants to be, you give out like personality types or opinions of that dream finance seat that you would have. You just have to tell it that. You don't have to say, like, mine is Dave Ramsey. That's Dave Ramsey sits in my finance seat. You don't have to give it a very specific person. You could build out who that perfect persona of your finance seat would be, and you can use that as well. So that's a powerful tool as well.
I was also thinking like CEOs who are tuning in, or maybe even general managers, or maybe the only admin in the office. Yeah. This would be very helpful for you to show your skills off. Like if you had to come to Drew, the owner, with a proposal of something, you could ask your own board of directors. So when you got to the top dog that you had to propose this to, it would just look like, I mean, it would be like running it past somebody before you had to run it past the big guy. I'm just 100%. Giving another example. Yeah. Rather than just owners, like this can be applicable to like my kids. Like they should go run it through your VBOD before you come to me.
I love it.
Thank you.
I love that. You know, and like I said, maybe someone that doesn't have like those specific people in mind that they would put in those seats. I mean, Actually, you just gave me a fantastic idea. Like, what if my family, we had our own family virtual board of directors and we build it out with like the core values and what we want our family to be known for, what our family stands for, you know, all of those types of things. And if we ever have a family decision, we could run it through our family VBOD. You know, it's just such a powerful decision-making tool that just provides outside input or insights to things that you can't see because we're all just stuck in our heads. You know, like we have decision fatigue, I believe is a very real thing. And what this does is like really help break down what makes sense. You know, what makes sense moving forward.
Okay, I promise I'm not going to interrupt you.
Oh, please do. This is great. So where does my VBOD exist? I use ChatGPT's custom GPT function for mine. If you are a Claude person, if you're a Gemini person, if you're a Grok person, I'm sure there is, you know, some sort of version where this could exist in any of your favorite LLMs, which if you're not sure, LLM stands for language learning model. So it's, you know, those are the ChatGPTs, the Groks, the Geminis of the world. Why do you need one? You know, we've talked about this a little bit, but it's impossible, and I don't know human exists that can have such a great input on certain topics, challenges, things that can come up where you just have the perfect opinion of everything. You know, that's why I think humans exist, is we exist to be together with shared ideas, different ideas, to where it's impossible, like I said, to see the whole field alone. You know, but business also moves way too fast to rely on just all the time that trial and error leadership. I know Mark Zuckerberg has a famous quote, like, move fast and break things. Zuckerberg also had hundreds of millions of dollars of investor money to play with, right? So we all don't have the luxury of tons of dollars to just mess around and break stuff all the time. So you need quick access to someone or something that can challenge you, provide you with clarity, and also give you courage, like to make those scary decisions. What's that phrase? Like, scared money don't make money. You know, so sometimes we need somebody behind us, like giving us that courage to invest in something or make a specific decision that can, you know, help us be less scared money and invest in the right things. So that's why I think everybody needs something like this.
Okay.
I did see a question pop up. Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you add a family member? Great question. So our agency runs on ChatGPTs. We have a team account, so we pay like per user. So if you wanted your family to use it, you guys can honestly share a login if you wanted to. You don't really need the team account. But if you wanted each individual person to have their own ChatGPT account within the family team account, you would just, when you create the custom GPT, you would share it with their email address in their ChatGPT account, and it could be given to them that way.
I think I don't know, I think you answered it, but the other version of that was like, if you... she wants to go ahead, or like if she wanted to go ahead and program like here's what I'm going to say, here's my beliefs, here's what I'm mom's version. Because obviously, like some people, like, what if you aspire to somebody that ChatGPT doesn't know or have any data on? You would program it in the configure section. Like you would say, or you would say whoever, mom, and then it would, and then all of the description that you wrote next to mom is how ChatGPT would answer that. So that's your chance to get your like 8-page mom essay out and stick it in that configure section. And then
that could be such a great opportunity to ask ChatGPT those questions we were talking about earlier. Because like I love my family doesn't have this, but after today, I want to make it happen. Like I want a Larison family creed to happen. I want to like us to have like a purpose, a mission statement. Honestly, kind of like 5 Door Media has like that why statement. What if our families all had why statements? You can create a custom GPT or just use ChatGPT to come up with your family creed, to come up with your family core values that you have. Obviously, like a company, but different than like what a company's core values would be. Imagine if you used ChatGPT to come up with those and then you plug those into your family's VBOD so that family or that GPT knows this is what this family stands for, this is what they value, this is how they make decisions, this is how they stand up for other people, this is how they stand up for themselves. That'd be an amazing tool to have.
I was also thinking too on the like the managers managing managers, because that's the biggest question I get, like with having 17 managers in a larger residential cleaning service. How do you manage those managers? If I had a judge, because poor things, they hadn't seen me in a while, I've been crazy busy, but I have an amazing CEO. But what if I had a chat GPT that was like, ask, like whatever, kid, like, and they're too scared to ask me, but they could go into that and ask, would I see the information that was in there, or only the person that's using it, or everybody would have accessible access? That was a question.
Everybody could have access to that you give it to. Your custom GPT could be a private thing where the only people that do have access to it are the ones that have been added on that back end, or you could make it live, like for everybody to read. So that would be an option.
No, I didn't mean live, but like, if like say Caitlin was like wanted to type in, will Holly be mad if I take off in 2 weeks, and how should I ask her for 2 weeks off? Caitlin, I know that you don't have to do that. You know how to ask me. But this is where I'm getting to. And it spits out a response. But what if, can I see it? Can anybody who has access to that, they can see that information, is what I'm asking.
I don't believe so. I don't think you would have access to that. Now, I think another kind of like topic what you're talking about in general is, I think the idea of coaching is on the edge of being drastically changed by ChatGPT. Because, Holly, I know you do some light coaching on the side. I know a lot of people do in the cleaning industry. But, like, imagine if you spent just a couple hours talking to your ChatGPT, talking about everything you possibly know about the residential cleaning industry, and then you trained that ChatGPT to know everything inside your brain when it comes to that. And then you sold access to that custom GPT, where it's kind of like they have you as a coach, but it's really you as a GPT. So, you could do that with your staff. You're talking about like asking staff questions. Now, what you put in is what you get out, right? So that would take a lot of input to like train on all possible situations. But once again, ask it questions like, what else do you need to know? What else would my staff need to know? What else do I need to train you for? So they could type in a question into this ChatGPT instead of like calling or texting me. That's a real thing, right?
Yeah.
The more you put into it, the more you get out of it, though.
Absolutely awesome.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're good. So how do you build it? It's pretty simple. And I know Derek went over this last week on just like the actual how to build a custom, ChatGPT. But really, I think what's important at first is start defining key seats that your business needs. Do you need help with strategy, marketing, operations, innovation, finances, customer service, etc.? Assign a name or a framework to each seat. Maybe that's a mentor, a podcast host, or like a book, and then consult those seats during big decisions. Like that's kind of how you build it. So with me, we're going to go through it. I have 15 individual seats that I've built out on my virtual board of directors, and they all serve like very specific roles. I want them to be like very streamlined in what they think and what they do. So let's talk about also like, what do I ask it before we jump into like who's on my virtual board of directors and kind of give you guys like pull back my curtain on who's important to me. But I ask it really anything. If we have like a tough client situation coming up, or we have, hey, here's our P&L statement from last month. What should we be looking at to cut? I'd ask my like finance seat that. I use it for creative for 5 Door Media. So like, hey, here's a podcast idea that I had. Help me come up with questions to prepare for the episode. Really like anything you could possibly ask a normal ChatGPT search, I would use my virtual board of directors for that too. But I mean, I ask it like other little things, hey, I'm having this issue with like a staff member. What's the best way to approach this? Or, hey, I need to respond back to this email in a creative way. Help me write, a response to this email. So not tons different than what you would probably use ChatGPT for, but where the magic really comes and where it really happens is it's the responses you're going to get because you gave specific seats to specific people. We're going to get into who's on my board. And this was something, honestly, that's kind of always evolving for me. I think I added a few people a few weeks ago, and that's a cool thing about it, is that it's your custom virtual board of directors, so you could always just be adding more people to this or removing or changing how you want feedback from people on your virtual board of directors. Sitting in the visionary seat is me. So I am the visionary here at 5 Door Media, so it's my job to show the vision of where the company is going, as well as just keeping us on the leading edge. But my integrator seat is actually my wife. So my custom virtual board of directors actually knows everybody on my staff. They know my entire org chart. They know what their roles are. They know what my roles are. They know if I'm doing something that like the integrator should be doing, it will straight respond to me and says like, why are you doing this? This isn't your role. Give it to your integrator. Or, hey, why are you doing this? This should go to Reese. This should be going to Katie. Why are you in the weeds with this, right? Because it's one of the hard things about being a visionary is staying out of the weeds. For me, at least. I don't know if anybody else feels like that too. I like to get my hands dirty every now and then. So I've actually trained it to build like, hey, if I'm doing tasks that don't fit into what I should be doing as the visionary, call me out on it. Like, tell me, no, this needs to be pushed to so-and-so. This needs to be pushed to so-and-so. So sitting in my innovation seat, which is very important to me as a visionary, I put Steve Jobs. I could not think of a human being that has walked this planet that has been more innovative and like pushes the status quo than what Steve Jobs was able to do. So like we are currently working on a new service here at 5 Door Media to offer to cleaning companies that honestly it's going to be very innovative for the cleaning world. There's not really agencies doing this. So I've leaned on Steve quite a bit on planning for it, even like asking, hey, Steve, how should I launch this? What's the best way to talk about this new service? I lean towards that innovation seat quite a bit to be getting, good ideas on how to launch that new service. I mentioned this earlier, but sitting in my financial seat is Dave Ramsey, and it's tough. I think everybody's heard of Dave Ramsey, right? He's a pretty famous financial advisor to the world. What's funny about putting Dave in my finance seat is I actually don't agree with everything that he says. However, when it comes to the business, when it comes to the financial health of 5 Door Media, I want someone like Dave who wants you to be as cash healthy as possible, as debt free as possible. I don't mind those things for our company. So I put Dave into that financial seat. So I'll ask Dave specific questions or the finance seat specific questions like, hey, here's our P&L, or hey, here's pricing for a new service I think we want to launch, or hey, here's X, Y, and Z questions I have about the finances of the business. Ask questions about lines of credit or, things like that anybody would want to know about. And I have Dave Ramsey mindset giving me responses, to what he would recommend if he was actually my finance seat on my board of directors in real life. For risk and governance, I put Warren Buffett. You guys might know Warren Buffett. He's one of the wealthiest humans that have ever walked the earth. And he's done it by being really good at knowing what risk is worth it. And I'll be honest, I am one of those people, and thankfully I'm married to the opposite of this, so we, yin yang each other very well. I could care less about risk a lot of times. I look mainly at the reward opportunity and possibility and kind of just push that risk to the side. However, it is nice to have Warren Buffett on my side and on my team where I could ask like, hey, what would happen if I do this? Or what's the risk slash possible reward I could get by doing this idea? Was this too risky? Should I try this? Is this language in this piece of content too risky even? And just having the idea and like the mindset of Warren Buffett on the other side of that, answering questions on how he would look at risk and reward, it's an extremely powerful tool. Hopefully you guys are starting to see how this is used. And like I said, I have built out specific human beings that I know in the world, in business, leadership, and faith, and they help me with these decisions. But let's say you don't have someone like Dave Ramsey that you would look up to. You could build that perfect finance seat that you would want and just build out that human being and what aspects and like what ideas and ideology they would have about finance, and then build that custom person. It does not have to be a famous celebrity or something like that sitting in the seat. You can say, I want my finance seat to look at X, Y, and Z. I need X, Y, and Z to be their priority of importance, things like that. And you can build it out from there. So talent and culture, I put Howard Schultz. Sorry. Do you know who Howard Schultz is? CEO of Starbucks. He has written many, many books.
He's done a really good job at marketing his product and not himself, because I 100%. Did not know that.
Yeah. And he is, obviously a billionaire now, but he has actually written many books. He was a part of a really great series. I forget what the Masterclass, I think it's called. And it's all about team, talent, and culture. And like how to really build a team that is full of talented people, how to build a culture at a business. So like, honestly, I'll come to him with like, hey, here's a job description. How would you change this? What would you add to it? What am I missing? What are some holes in this? Or like, hey, here's a culture building event I want to throw for the company. What are your thoughts on this? I talk to Howard quite a bit, as silly as that sounds, but it's one of my jobs as the visionary here at 5 Door Media to help with that company culture. So I lean on Howard quite a bit to help me maybe find some holes that I'm missing. And he can, help fill those holes with some good ideas and good creative to help us have like the most talented team here, as well as like the best company culture.
And just to get back to what you were talking about, you can ask ChatGPT, hey, I'm a blah, blah, blah. Describe yourself and say, I need you to build me a board of directors, because I have no clue, because I'm ADD and I'm all over the place. I don't even watch the news. I have no idea who anybody is. I don't aspire to anybody. I run around and crazy all day. So go to ChatGPT and describe yourself word for word within these types of like things, or your board that you're trying to build, and say, do you recommend anybody specifically? Yes. And ChatGPT, they'll actually match you with a person that's describing what you're trying to say. So, I mean, some of us are totally up on the news. Some of us totally read. Yep. Some of us have no idea other than the residential cleaning service, or our children, or cooking, or shopping. And we're like done, right? So you don't have to have this just like crap pile of knowledge. Ask ChatGPT. Describe you as a person. And when I say, he said it earlier, when you're setting this up, it's not like you have to be in front of a computer and you got to put it on your list of things to do. You're driving to the grocery store.
Yep.
Turn on the ChatGPT, hit the microphone, and start talking. For 45 100%. Minutes, just talk. Talk like you're talking to your mom on the phone. And before you know it, it happens. So there's no excuse. Don't say you don't have time. Don't say it. Like, it's not an excuse. Like, hit the microphone and just start talking, because you do it anyway. This way, at least you're wearing ChatGPT's ear out, not somebody else's. And so just talk to it, help it, let it help you set it up, and it will help you.
Yeah, the voice back and forth with it is amazing. But honestly, sometimes I just do kind of like that voice to text option as well. Because I'm much more of a verbal than like typing, just brain dump, right? So sometimes I'll just do the text or the talk to text option inside of ChatGPT. And I see that works really well too, because it will just transcribe it, and then you click send and it sends the message, and you get, a response right away. But yeah, I mean, I am seeing someone ask, let me see.
Oh, yes. Yes. Let me pop it up
Best
here.
clean ever. Yeah. I was talking to them the other day, actually. Can you share your GPT instructions or generalize the actual prompt you put in? I can. I might send that later, or when we get done with this, I could open up my back end of my GPT and show you that too. Would love to. But honestly, I don't know. I want this to be custom to you. I want this to be something that like you need. I don't want you to just copy Drew's and call it a day. I've got a great custom sales GPT if you guys want to see that as well that we've used, and that's also changed our lives. But I want this to be custom to you and what you need for it, right? So I mean, like Holly was mentioning, just open it, start talking. I mean, hopefully at the end of this webinar today, you have a good idea of like what you would use it for, what you need it to use it for. I would just I would even say like, hey, I just got done watching a webinar on how to create a virtual board of directors. And I'm very interested in it. Here's what they talked about. Here's why this would matter to me. I think this is what I would use it for. What do you think I could use it for? And then just start that conversation, and it will slowly just start building out a VBOD that's great for you.
Yeah. And you can literally say, I watched a webinar, I got inspired, I went my own board of directors, and then give me step-by-step instructions, step 1, and then stop. And then it'll go step 1, and then it'll tell you what to do. And then you go, okay, I'm ready for step 2. And then it'll give you step 2. And then you just keep going on. And you know what? You can't mess it up. Guess what?
No.
You can edit it. So no big deal. Like ChatGPT will guide you on how to do it. And then sure. I think I've got a couple of questions like, hey, can I have this or step-by-step guides? And I think you just answered it. Well, you can ask ChatGPT. It'll tell you. But I'm sure he could probably put some steps together for you, and we can get it out on a comment or on the recording.
Yeah, and like I know it is such an easy thing to overthink on like how to do it. Just start talking. And the more you're honest with that custom GPT, like, hey, I've never done this before. Here's the idea of it. They will walk you through on like the best way to create it. So Caitlin, I see you, asking that question. I think Faith was asking it earlier too. Maybe just don't overthink it. Be honest with your GPT. Tell it where you're coming from. You've never done something like this before. Need help walking through it, and I promise it'll work out. So I'm almost through here. Personal leadership. I actually did Simon Sinek. If you guys can't tell, I highly respect Simon Sinek. Our company went through those why discoveries that I mentioned up top, and I think he's a brilliant mind when it comes to leading yourself personally. My wife and I actually fell in love with our business why discoveries so much that her and I actually went through Simon's company and got our personal why discoveries done as well. So I just really believe Simon has a great brain of like self-leadership and personal leadership. But on the business side, I actually chose Marcus Lemonis for my business leadership. He was one of my favorite people. He had this show called The Prophet. And I love his outlook on business. He simplifies business in a really great way. I respect Marcus Lemonis a lot when it comes to business leadership and people. Marketing, I wrote Alex Hermosi sits on my board, which Alex is obviously like a very big name right now. He just came out with his new book, $100 Million Money Models. But the guy knows what he's doing. The guy knows what he's doing when it comes to marketing strategies, specifically on the digital side of things. So Alex actually sits on my marketing seat in my virtual board of directors. So in a way, I can chat with Alex Hermosi whenever I want. I don't need to spend 15 grand on books, to get an access to his own custom GPT. I kind of have him on my virtual board of directors, which is great. I use him for my personal content that I post online. I use him a lot for emails that I send. I use him a lot for podcast questions and things like that, and how to lay out content the best way. Branding in general, obviously we do a lot of branding here at 5 Door Media for cleaning companies, but also just it's kind of in my role to be in charge of the brand of 5 Door Media. And I'm not just talking like visual brand, but like what people think about 5 Door Media when they see our logo. That's our response. That's my responsibility as well. So Casey Neistat, he's actually a really famous YouTuber. I know that sounds silly, but I love the way he has done some brand deals with big brands back in the day when he was like really active on YouTube. And he just has this really fresh, unique way of like putting brands in certain situations that make them look great. So I have Casey Neistat sitting in my branding seat, almost done here. Sales, I have Marcus Sheridan. If you guys have not heard of Marcus Sheridan, he wrote a book called They Ask You Answer, which we'll talk about a little bit more later when we go through AI search tools. Marcus Sheridan is a brilliant man when it comes to sales, so I lean on him a lot when it comes to the sales strategies here at 5 Door Media, as well as when we get to that fifth door that I was talking about with our clients, leaning on Marcus and on my VBOD to help our cleaning companies come up with sales strategies to increase their conversion rates and their sales percentage rates and their close rates, so their marketing can go farther. Customer success, I put Tony, I think it's Heisch. Is that how you pronounce his last name? I read a book of his years ago. He's the founder of Zappos and Zappos.com, which is a online retail store. Obviously, they do a lot of shoes. And one of the simple things that Tony taught me years ago is where you could buy a pair of shoes from Zappos, pay for normal shipping, and every now and then they surprise you with overnight shipping with no extra cost. And it's just like a little things like that makes you the customer happy. They want to keep coming back. They love being a customer for your business. So I put Tony in that seat. Market trends, good old Gary V. Everybody's heard of Gary Vaynerchuk. That man has predicted more truth about like market trends and marketing that is happening than anybody else I know. So I lean on Gary a lot on my VBOD to give me insights of what's next. Obviously in the AI world, that's a very popular seat that I talk to quite a bit, but it's pretty cool. I can message back and forth with Gary V kind of whenever I want and to see what his perspective is. So 15 individual seats, all with individual purposes and perspectives. So a lot of times when I'm typing in questions to my VBOD, sometimes I say like, I need the whole board's perspective on this. And the response that I get back breaks it down by seat. And at the very end of the message, here's our board consensus. Here's what you should do. Sometimes I'm asking for the whole board's decision. Sometimes I'm asking just for specific seats and getting their feedback. It really all just depends on the situation that I'm in. I love it though. I can't describe to you how much it's changed my life. Here's some other stuff that I've told it. I mean, I mentioned kind of this stuff earlier. I gave it our entire staff org chart. So when I am referencing situations, we're like, hey, who should I delegate this to? Who should this task go to? Who maybe is dropping the ball? It knows everybody in my company by name and what their job descriptions are, what they are responsible for internally, so it can give those direct advice. We run on EOS as our agency, as you could probably tell by integrator and visionary language I did earlier. So it gives me like, hey, this should be brought up in next week's L10. This could possibly be a rock for next quarter. It knows we run on EOS.
That's a whole lot of acronyms. You just lost me.
Sorry, EOS is Entrepreneurial Operating System. So it's like an operating system on how we run our business, basically.
Okay.
So oh man, we could do a whole webinar just on
And then
EOS.
you were like rock. And then I'm like, what's rock?
Yeah, so rocks are basically your big quarterly goals in EOS that you're trying to like hit on a quarterly basis. So if I come up with a big idea that I want solved in 3 days because I'm impatient, it could probably shoot back at me like, that's a bigger goal. Maybe have that as a rock next quarter. It knows the EOS language well, so when I'm communicating with it, it knows how to communicate back. And communication styles too. It is completely up to you. I like being told things straight up. I don't like to, dance around topics or opinions. So I have told my virtual board of directors, like, shoot it to me straight, right? Please do not dance around. I don't have time for you to be kind to me. I intentionally had these people put on my VBOD for a purpose. Please be honest with me. Please be straight. So that's a communication style that I give as well.
And again, guys, like those of you who just got completely overwhelmed, whenever he said, load this, load that, load this, load that, Drew, you own your own business, you're nationwide, you have a local successful company. Yes, I'm nationwide, but I'm also local too. So I got everything you just said. But what I'm worried about is like, I don't want y'all to hesitate on creating this because he said there's so many of us out there that don't even have our hierarchy, don't even have job descriptions, don't even have all of this information. Go ahead and set up your board of directors and then let them guide you and say, look, I know on your phone on the way to the grocery store, okay, I've given you all I've fed you. What could you possibly need for the board of directors to make better decisions for me? And then it'll kind of tell you and then go, okay, great. It needs my company structure. It needs my vision. It needs my mission. can you help me create a vision and a mission? Like, it's your own person, like right there. So just keep that in mind. Like, set it up. Don't freak out because you don't have all these things to drop into it. You don't have your, hierarchy diagram drawn out or your future all out or everything.
Org chart, yeah.
Or the org chart. You don't have it like documented. Not a whole lot of us have it documented. I didn't have my handbook done until like 5 years ago, and it was finally my CEO that finally got it done. You know what I mean? So it's okay that you don't have all the information that he just told you had to feed in it. You don't have to feed it in it. You can ask it to teach you how to create it and make it like super fast for you. So just start small. It's not like you have to do, but he's showing you from A to Z what it could do. And you can see how powerful it can be, but just start. Like, just start. Because guess what? Everybody else is doing it. And if you're not doing it, they're like, how are they getting there so fast? I don't get it. I'm still answering the phones and driving to the grocery store and listening to music instead of talking into my ChatGPT. So, or whatever what did you call it? That was an acronym that I missed. Either way, so I just don't want y'all to get overwhelmed, and I don't want y'all to discourage yourselves. I do want you to start with something and go from there. But
100%.
I think there is also something that Drew has.
Like, this can be, AI as a whole can be a very intimidating world to dip your toes in. Like, we're literally talking to robots and having conversations with them. And it's like everything else, though. It's not hard. It just takes time. And like, that's a phrase I've used on many podcasts talking about AI. None of this is difficult. It just takes time. And if you want basic outputs, you can get those by putting basic inputs in, right? What you put in is what you get out. But if you really want it to become like a tool that you can use and replace time that you were going to be spending there, or like what we're talking about today, like literally, you know how big your company has to be to where you have a board of directors as the CEO that you could call a meeting and, have everybody meet you there. And the board is full of really smart people that's going to give you the best advice, that wants the best for you, that wants the best for the company. Huge.
Less than 0.1%, 0.01% of businesses out there. But now we all have it at the tip of our fingers.
100% of businesses can have something like a board of directors now through a virtual board of directors. And I just can't, stress enough how much it's changed how I operate as a CEO, as a visionary at 5 Door Media. It's changed so much for me. And honestly, it's helped us level up so much so quickly because I have access to this. And it is a thing that everybody else has access to. So if you're wanting to grow, you're wanting to level up, highly recommend checking this out and getting into a virtual board of directors.
I don't want to steal Derek's words from last week, but I want you to think about it like you're not wasting your time on a robot. You're using a free employee. This is not it is a robot, but it is literally a resource and a person that you can train as an employee to do a ton of admin tasks. So why not? Like, it doesn't even, like, it makes total sense. So don't think of it as complicated. Think about, like, how much time would you train somebody to do a job? And how much less time is it going to take you to train the robot? Way less.
And that, I'm telling you, that voice hack, too, is so amazing. The amount of time you save just by talking into your phone instead of having to type everything out, not knowing what to type out. Just talk, have a conversation with it. Or, like I said, just use that, talk to text feature also inside of ChatGPT is an amazing tool. It's wild how quickly I've been able to build things just through talking to my phone. And then ChatGPT cleans it up and makes it for me. So I do want to talk about a little bit about AI search, because this is something we get talked a lot about and asked a lot about as well, just being a marketing agency in this world of AI. So if you guys don't mind, I have just a few things I want to talk to here, because we're getting asked about, like, hey, how do I make sure I'm showing up on ChatGPT searches? What is this Gemini thing on Google where what is a no-click search looking like? Like, what are all these things? And if you go to a conference, of course, that's everybody's talking about AI, so it just makes it even more confusing for people. So I want to talk about this a little bit today. But before I get started, We're going to talk about a few acronyms called AEO or GEO. And there are people on the internet right now that will tell you they are experts at AEO, which is answer engine optimization, or GEO, which is generative engine optimization. And they are the ones you should look towards because they know everything there is to know about search on AI. I've also been told in my life, you have to study something and do something for 10,000 hours before you can call yourself an expert on it. There have not been 10,000 hours that these acronyms have existed yet. So no one who tells you they are an expert is truly an expert. I do not believe that. However, we do have data, we do have information that is leaning towards what things are looking like, what you should be focusing on your website, and we can go, and talk about those things. But first, I want to talk about 60% of Google searches in the US ended without a click in 2024. 60% comes from the Digital Bloom, which is a website that talks about digital marketing. This is what we're talking about when it comes to no-click searches. People are searching a question and they are seeing the Gemini answer. They don't click on anything else. They go about their day. This is the major shift that's happening. 1 in 10 US internet users now are turning to generative AI first for online search, not Google. 10%. They are asking their questions that they would normally go to Google for, and they're asking AI. So everything we're going to talk about today, we're reverse engineering the actions of users, and that's how we're coming up with plans. We're not just saying let's do AI search because it's cool or someone at a conference told you to do it. All of this we're doing is because we're reverse engineering what we're seeing people interact with on the internet. Who needs to know about this? Every business that gets customers through online search, especially local service businesses like cleaning companies. This is something we are going to have to take seriously due to the actions that we're seeing users take online. So if that's you, which I'm guessing if you're not one of those people, welcome to this webinar. I don't know why you're here, but we're happy you're here. So let's talk about AEO and GEO. Like I said, traditional SEO, which stands for search engine optimization, which is like the human tasks that we can do to help our websites pop up as high as possible on organic search results, is evolving. Is it dead? Absolutely not. Is it dying? I don't know if I would use the word dying. The term I've been using is it's evolving. And AI-powered tools like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Google, all of those LLMs are now answer engines. Notice the difference. Google is a search engine. Those other tools are answer engines. AEO stands for answer engine optimization. GEO is generative engine optimization. Marketers have not landed on one term yet. That's why we're using both. I see both out there. Please just pick one and let's move forward with it. They're about making your content ready for AI to pick up and present to users directly. There's no need for them to click through 10 different links. Let's talk about Google's goal as a whole. And I always look at this with platforms. What is the platform's goal? How can I reverse engineer that into the actions we make on their platform to perform the best we possibly can? Google's entire goal with search has always been, how do we get the best possible search results to our users that are on our platform searching? That's it. They want to make sure the websites that are popping up first on that first page, ranking number 1, is the best possible website that user is possibly searching for. That's their goal. Why do they do that? Because if you use Google and you know they give me the best search results, why the heck would you go to any other search engine, right? That is Google's big goal. So we use SEO to make sure we are the best possible search result for people searching on the internet. ChatGPT is no different, except what ChatGPT wants to do is to become the best place in the world to get the best answers to any question someone is possibly asking. Search, Google was to make the best website search results pop up. ChatGPT and AI platforms like ChatGPT and things like that, they want to be the best answer. That is their goal. So how do we deal with that? Obviously, we know SEO strategies in the past to make our website the best possible option for search results. How do we make our websites the best possible search? That's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. Shift is already happening, right? Google is rolling out AI-powered results with Gemini. Consumers are already asking ChatGPT things like, what's the best house cleaner in Tulsa? Shout out Tulsa. Don't know why I chose Tulsa, but I did. And getting AI-curated answers. This is already happening.
Because we have Teresa McConnell that's in Tulsa. That's
there you go. Shout out Teresa McConnell. So, I mean, it's already happening. So I think, Holly, you said something at the very top of this. This is not something in the future. This is something that's happening right now. Technically, we're all behind, right? Because we should have been on this like a year ago or even more, and we could have been far ahead.
Like Derek said last week, it's as big as the internet. Like, I don't know why
100%.
everybody thinks, like, oh my God, there's no way that your computer could pop up and you could do all that. Remember how we were in the beginning of the internet? And we were like, and the phone was first calling up, and we were like ignoring it. And then all of a sudden it was like, who could live without internet? Who in this
100%.
world could live without internet today?
Not me.
I'm telling you, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Who is going to live without AI in 4 years? Nobody.
Because a lot of times people don't even realize they're using it when they're using it. Like it's already ingrained to so much of what we do. We're using things that we don't even realize are AI, and they are AI. So the change is already happening. Why is this change happening? Kind of like what I was describing earlier. It is because ChatGPT has now changed expectations. People are not searching keywords anymore. They're searching questions. AI is cutting through the noise. It rewards businesses that clearly, directly answer the right questions that are being asked. That means your content needs to now be formatted for answers, not just keywords. And that is a big thing we all need to realize. Like our websites should not just be keyword focused anymore. They need to be keyword focused as well as answer focused.
Both
I
for
mentioned
now.
Marcus, both for sure.
For now.
Yeah, and there's ways to do it. I mentioned Marcos Lemonis earlier. He sits in my sales seat on my VBOD. He is playing a giant role in my life when it comes to this. He wrote a book called They Ask You Answer. There's a newer version of it called Endless Customers. But he asks the crazy question, why don't we just give all of the answers to the questions that we get asked most frequently and put them on our website? He's been doing this for years. It's this crazy concept, right? And that is playing a giant role in people being successful in the early days of AI search. What does this mean? Every cleaning company could probably come up with, in 10 minutes or less, a list of 25 frequently asked questions you get asked, right? That should not be that hard. And everybody's is probably roughly the same.
Especially if you're feeding all your questions through your custom customer service ChatGPT channel.
100%.
You could literally generate it in 5 seconds.
Yeah, but even ask different people in the company. The office staff would have great answers for this. Sales staff for sure would have great answers for this. You, the owner, would have great answers. Technicians probably get asked questions on the job. Like, what are all those FAQs that you get asked all day, every day that you could answer like while you're asleep? Make sure those questions are on your website. The answers are on your website because that is what AI searches are going to start looking for. How do cleaning companies get ready for this change? Like I said, add an FAQ section with clean, natural language. Use schema markup where possible. Schema is like background code on your website that Google uses to help rank and things like that. Structure content around specific user questions. Like we said, come up with those FAQ lists and create content that answers those questions. Keep answers concise, conversational, and local. Local is very important to this. What we are seeing is, let's say the question you get asked, like, how much does it cost to get my house cleaned, right? That blog on your website or that content on your website should not just read, how much does it cost to get my house cleaned? That blog should read, how much does it cost to get my house cleaned in Tulsa, Oklahoma? Shout out Tulsa one more time, right? Make it local. Make it specific to your area. So when people are asking these questions in ChatGPT or on Google, Google knows where they're searching from. You have a blog that it answers their exact question in a clear, conversational, and concise way. And you mention locally where they're from. Local is a big point to be adding into this content. Optimize Google profile with Q&A filled out. There are great sections in your Google My Business page that you want to make sure you've answered as much of those questions as possible and answered those questions. But also think, what would ChatGPT quote from my site? We're all using ChatGPT a lot. We know kind of the questions it asks. If you're not, you will soon because everybody's going to start using it more and more. What would it quote from my site? What answer would make sense that you would see that ChatGPT would respond with? So those are just some things to get ready for. I think I did just see somebody mention video, which is a great point. So all of these blogs that we're talking about writing, answering these questions, ironically enough, you can use video or ChatGPT to help create this blog content. We're doing this here at 5 Door Media. We're creating, I think we're going to be doing 2 blog posts a week, answering questions we get all the time from cleaning companies. But how I'm doing it is I take once again, ChatGPT, I speak and rant for about 5 to 7 minutes on how I would answer that question that we would be getting and say, hey, turn this into a 2,500 to 3,000 word blog post in my voice using my response to write the blog post. Blog post is written. After that, this was where video comes into play. After that, tell ChatGPT, hey, love the blog post. Now turn this into a 60 to 90 second video script. Take the content from that blog post, transform it into a video script. I need like a first 3 seconds needs a good hook line to it. And what we're doing now, we have like big video shoot days at our office where we have a teleprompter with all of the video scripts, and we're knocking out like 20 videos in about an hour, like answering the same questions that are being answered in that blog post. So when we start posting those blogs, those videos are going to be right up top on the blog post. So if somebody is landing on our website with that answer, they're a reader, they love to consume information that way, they can read the blog. If you're a visual learner, you could watch the video and get the answer that way too. However, if you post those through YouTube, YouTube automatically creates transcripts of all of their videos. So ChatGPT and other AI platforms could use the words you're saying in that transcript of that video to pull search results your way as well.
You just got level 2 on us on that. Amen. I have a lot of questions for you on that, but I know we're approaching like an hour. So
okay. Main mindset shift when it comes to AI search. Start thinking questions and answers, not just keywords. And I know it's hard. If you've worked with an agency in the past or you've looked at your website, everything you've been told about your website is keyword this, keyword that, keyword rankings. Make sure you're doing the right keywords. Keywords still matter. SEO is not dead. It's evolving. But also make sure we are switching our mindset to questions and answers, not just keywords.
Amen. Amen. So I think Faith had asked, can you add call transcripts to train it also? So
100%.
I don't think this was in the perspective of what we just got off of because we're in a little bit of a delay. But when you're, okay, so we're going off of like what he was talking about with his board of directors. I think she's more talking about like a custom ChatGPT channel. Like if you have a customer service ChatGPT channel. I don't know why I'm going to rename that for myself. But anyway, whenever they do that, like you can load like your customer service call transcripts in there to help train it. And then if Faith, correct me if I'm wrong, or did you mean something different by that? Because I don't know that you would exactly load call transcripts into your board of directors unless you were like, here's a call transcript. How do I answer this? Am I there? So there's like two different things.
Yeah, you could upload a call transcript and say, hey, whoever's sitting in your sales seat on your virtual board of directors, how do I do?
Gotcha.
Or something like that. We've actually created custom sales coach GPTs for us internally. And honestly, this has been one of my favorite things in the world because I'm stepping into the sales seat a lot more lately. And I will take my sales call transcripts, and like an athlete goes back and watches film, I put that transcript into my custom designed sales GPT coach. And I'm like, how did I do? Grade me. How did my performance do? And I've actually broken it down. How did I do on product knowledge? How did I do on objection handling? Like there's like 5 different categories I want it to grade me on. And it gives me an ABCD or an ABCDF. Like it grades me and gives me points even on, hey, you said this would have been better. Or like, oh, you did a really good job on that moment. Like it'll bring up specific moments. But then at the same time, if you're in a world where like you're creating proposals for people, I'll take that call transcript and reference back to it. This is a sneaky thing we've been doing, but I think people love it. I will go back to that call transcript and say, what were the 3 biggest goals this prospect said they wanted to help with their marketing? Like, what do they want to accomplish the most? It will pull the goals they mentioned on that call with direct quotes of them saying why those are important. I am starting to put those direct quotes into their proposal when we go over the goals. Mm-hmm. Every single time I've done that, I get a smile from somebody because they're like, that's good. They like pulled a direct quote talking about a goal, right? So use those. Transcripts are so powerful because it doesn't leave anything out. We use Google Meet for most of our meetings, so they provide a transcript for free. If not, you can use like otter.ai is a good like note-taking tool that you can use and get a transcript from as well. Transcripts are very powerful.
This Riverside has a transcript.
Yep.
I was just thinking about, I've had a bunch of messages saying, can I get step-by-steps? Can I do this? Can I do that? So I'm actually going to take these transcripts from both Riverside, Derek's, and our third series, and I'm going to put them in ChatGPT to give you all this giant summary and issue that as a resource to you guys. And then if I don't like what it pops out, I'll be like, I don't like this, you need to revise this where it's more step by step. So I am going to use this AI to actually give y'all the tools and knowledge that you need from these sessions. So don't feel overwhelmed. Plus they're published. Plus you can rewatch them. Yep. It's a lot of information all at once, and it is overwhelming, but I do still urge you, like as a developer and a software person, if anybody who has a software that was coded before 2015 is completely out of date, like there is no way that this giant transformation happened between 2015 and now that they can keep up, because AI has changed the game in the last 5 years, even in the software industry. So the softwares are struggling. Now the softwares are not even using coders anymore. They're using AI to code. Like it's a totally different world we're living in. And from my side, on the tech side, I see it firsthand, but I'm like, oh my gosh, guys, y'all got to get with it. Not to scare y'all, but just start using a couple little tools here and there, and then it won't be as scary. So that was my whole thing, is like a couple tools here and there. Yeah. Let's be more efficient.
A while back, one of the best things you can do is put 15 minutes on your calendar every day. Go to YouTube, search up some sort of AI specific creator, and watch 15 minutes worth of content. Learn something new every day. It doesn't need to be this grandiose, huge new idea. 15 minutes a day of education will do you so good, right? One of my favorite quotes is micro changes equal macro differences. You don't need to jump on 7-hour webinars or like pay for a course. There's so much information like this podcast or just other, piece of content on YouTube. Take 15 minutes a day, learn something new, and just compound over time. It will do so much good for you.
And I took it as a humble beginning because I felt like I was really far behind. And so, of course, when Holly feels like she's really far behind, Holly goes full blast, like workout every day. So I'm like watching YouTubes everywhere, and I get overwhelmed very easily, but I'm educating. And then I realize, oh my gosh, like this is a thing. And so I felt very uncomfortable bringing this series to y'all because I'm not, like, I'm a newbie, right? So I'm like, people are probably laughing at me. Like, the people who actually know AI are laughing at me. Like, oh my God, did you hear that acronym she used? And I'm like, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm a newbie. So I'm learning all these things, but I'm coming to you vulnerable. Saying, look, bro, I just started watching YouTube videos like 4 months ago, really trying to get into this. What my mind is open to now versus 4 months ago, crazy. Instead of scrolling Instagram with stupid reels, I've been watching videos. I've just been filling my brain with like what the potential is. And guys, our kids already know it.
Yep.
They're already there. We are going to be obsolete. Not only are we going to get replaced by robots, we're going to get replaced by our children who are using the robots. And we're just going to be like, I'm not using robots. And that's from me, who's my birthday yesterday, from a mid-40 person. I'm not, I get it. Especially those of us who are in our 50s. But it's not hard. Like, AI has made it so easy that, like, a puppet could do it. So don't be intimidated. Pick one thing out at a time and go for it. But
like we talked too, ask AI. Like, there is no better teacher than AI to teach you AI. And something I do often, we had this one client, this was not in the cleaning space, this was years ago. And the contract, it was a big enough client where like I was signing their contract, they weren't signing mine. So I uploaded the entire contract to ChatGPT and I said, explain this to me like I'm a fifth grader. Make this as simple as possible. What am I missing? And I've learned to do that on many different ways. If it's an overwhelming concept, tell it. Explain this to me like I'm 5, right? And it will break it down. And if that makes sense, all right, maybe I'm in high school now. Break it down a little bit more complex. Like, that's how you can speak to it. Don't be afraid that you have to speak so professional. This is not LinkedIn, people. This is ChatGPT. Like, they don't care. There's no judgment going on where you're coming from or where your knowledge is. Speak to it like you normally would. Become friends with it. I've named mine Chatty. That's my ChatGPT's name. Give it a name. Give it like a pet. And we can go from there. But, like, ask ChatGPT to teach you.
Yeah.
It's an easy tool.
Amen. And I think there's worse places you could be right now. You could be a teacher in education while our kids are using robots.
Oh my gosh.
And like, how do you teach? Because
Have I talked
it's
to you about
crazy.
that? Because that is something like, because I
It
have
is
kids.
nuts. Yeah, no,
And
it's nuts.
it's
I've
such
already been through a plagiarism ordeal with my kids. But I'm like, you know what? He was resourceful. And everybody
I
is an
know,
adult
it's
that's
such a
using
weird line.
Yeah.
I don't want the school system to like have my kids be afraid of it. I mean, we're hiring right now, and like in our hiring process now is asking like, what's your experience with ChatGPT? And like, I want them to be experienced in it, because somebody told me a long time ago, I think it was Angela Chanowski from Unique Genius, that she's
Ooh,
a VA
she's our
agency.
next guest.
Perfect. She told me, you are not going to lose your job due to AI. You will lose your job to someone who speaks it better than you. And like, I hear that, and my parent clicks in, and I'm like, I want my kids to speak it so well. How are schools making my kids prepared with it and teaching them how to use it as a tool, and not just scaring them that they're going to get in trouble if they use it, right? Because there's that fine line, and I don't know what that is. I am thankful I am not a teacher. I'll say that.
I know. Well, let's drop the mic on that one, bro. That was a whole lot. I'm so motivated. I hope you come off of this inspired. And as like our friend Molly would say, like, come off of something inspired. Take that motivation. Don't just like make it motivation, make it reality. Like, put your plan of action down 5 minutes before you step away from here. Make your goals, and let's go kick some ass tomorrow. Let's go implement it with a real life. Take one thing. That's it. One thing. Do one thing tomorrow that you learned and got motivated. And then, you know what? Circle back around. Drew's always here. I'm always here. Derek's always here. And Angela's going to be here next week. And who is referring to, I've tried to grab the best people out of the service industry that are up on AI and that really understand. And then also Angela next week has a whole lot of solutions for you as far as VAs. Like, we're talking not, robot VAs, but she's got normal VAs. Oh, go back to that screen.
Sorry.
Yeah. Go back to the, but normal VAs, virtual VAs, whatever, all the things, all the resources you can handle, but then like how you can do that. But I do urge you guys, Drew's one of my best friends, and he has a lot of knowledge. He is a small town boy from Kokomo. I'm a small town girl from Texas. Y'all know we get it. We're in the industry to help you. If it doesn't result in business, we don't care. We want to educate and empower you. We obviously want you to sign up for here or Five Door Media. But if it's not for you, it's not for you. But I do encourage, reach out to Drew. He's a great guy and has some great strategies. And then now you can make sure you scan it. Are y'all done? Okay. And you can unshare. I just want to make sure I promoted you because I feel like we're not trying to cram a company down your throat, or we're not trying to promote anybody on this podcast. I don't even half-ass promote the cleaning software. Like, I don't even talk about it. So I think it's really important that y'all know our purpose here, and our purpose is, we want to give back, and people will give back to you one day. So we're here for you. Anything you need. And I can't thank you enough, Drew. You're my bro. It's been awesome.
Thanks for
having
having
me on. Do you have any closing statements?
No, keep doing what you're doing. I know it is hard. I know owning a business is difficult. I know it's lonely, as we kept talking about, which is one of the real reasons why this VBOD is such a powerful tool. But the work you're doing matters. And somebody said something to me recently, any work worth doing is usually not easy work. So I know maybe it's at the end of your day and you're tired and you were a CEO today / part-time firefighter because you put out so many fires inside your company. We see you. I see the work you're doing. I see the impact that you're creating. Keep at it. Keep working, because the work you're doing, which is hard work, is going to be worth it. So use AI tools. Use this podcast, use other podcasts that Holly, is publishing out there. You come to the Five Door Media podcast and learn. Ever since we've made this really hard switch into the cleaning industry specifically, I am not just saying this for brownie points. There is no better business community than the residential cleaning industry. There is such a tight-knit community of people that care, that want to see you grow, that have been where you are. Maybe they are where you are. Lean in, reach out to them, connect with people as much as possible, because everybody in this industry has been such an amazing thing to be a part of. And we love playing like the small role we get to play and like the growth of some of these companies, because like I said, the work you do matters, and we love being able to play a role that like helps more of that work happen.
Okay, guys, tuning out. TCS, empowering, educating the cleaning industry, and we will see you soon.